In this video, we are talking about Kanban principles. We have three core Kanban principles, and the first principle talks about visualize. It's all about visualizing your work and workflow. Let's take a small example. For this video lesson, I have work of 3 items. I would be discussing these 3 core principles, and the workflow is I will take them into an in-process stage, I will talk about them, and then finally I will put them in done when I am done with the work item. And the visualize your work and workflow is all about that. Many times when you go to a developer and ask him what he is doing, how much work is pending, you may find a situation where he is not aware the amount of work is waiting for him, because it may be in his inbox, it may be on a phone call, it may be on a ticketing system or a project management system which you are using. Many times you come and give another work to that person without knowing how much work he is already loaded with. The visualization of work and workflow helps us in first and the foremost thing is identifying the work items and the pending work item at a given stages. So this principle helps us in managing things visually. Let's look at the second principle, limit work in progress. Now, many times you find a situation where you start various initiatives. You think of doing so many things and you pick up many initiatives and you stop finishing them. The end result is many things are in progress. Limit work in progress. This principle talks about that you should have a limit for things which are in process. So don't start an initiative till the time previous initiatives are not done, or remove those previous initiatives from your initiative list or wish list which you have prepared for yourself. The idea is before you start something new, finish something. What work in progress limit you should put for yourself? It depends upon your environment and your capacity, but you should have some WIP limit or work in progress limit. Many times putting work in progress limit may put strain on the system. For example, you may go to a tester and you want him to do few more things and he tells you that he can't do it because it's crossing his WIP limit. Now, you may feel bad about it that he is not accepting your work, but you also need to get into the details and understand that even if he accepts the work is not going to finish because he is already loaded with the work. So, it will expose the problem. You can ask, what are you doing? Why you can't take this high priority work? And you may end up identifying that there is a wrong process or something which can be automated, or he is working on something which is not on priority. So, putting work in progress limits helps us in exposing issues, and this is the second core principle of Kanban, and it's done now because we have spoken about it. Now let's talk about the third principle. As per our pending list, the final principle we are talking is manage the flow. Putting things in a visual format where you can visualize the work and the stages it goes through, and finally, and also putting work in progress limits to ensure that bottlenecks are identified and exposed. Final thing we need to do is we need to have a measurement of a flow. Measurement of a flow by using theories like theory of constraints or using systems like managing the lead time helps us in identifying the bottleneck area. Many times you might have heard that the strongest system is identified by its weakest link, or the strength of the system is driven or measured by its weakest link, because that weak link is the bottleneck. So by managing the flow, by measuring the flow, we try to identify those areas which should be improved to make our process more effective, more profitable, and that's the third principle of Kanban. Now when you look into some other materials, especially say a Kanban method, you may find 5 properties rather than these 3 principles. In general, the core principle of Kanban are these 3 only, but the Kanban method also talks about putting process policies explicit or making the process policies explicit, which is kind of linked with visualization of work only. So when we have pending, in process and done stages, the putting process policies explicit talks about we need to identify when can you mark it done, what are those exit criteria should be met before that one work can move to the second stage. The fifth property which the Kanban method talks about is continuous improvement or putting a feedback loop. So after doing a measurement of flow or managing the flow, you also need to have a system, a formal system, a proactive approach which looks into the performance, the system performance, the strain areas, and provide a direction towards continuous improvement. So fifth property is all about Kaizen, changing things for betterment, making the process more and more efficient. So these are the principles behind Kanban.